And we're back, guys. I'm your host, Good Energy. Welcome to Tennis in a Minute as we head to Wuhan, Tennis After Dark. Now, most of you will probably be sleeping, but the true Jasmine and Coco fans will be up watching this match. We're going to talk Wuhan, the semifinals, Coco, Jasmine. But first, let's take a look at the other side of the draw. Big game Jesse P taking on Aryna. Sabalenka hits hard. Boy, does she scare me. Sabalenka's won 10 in a row coming off of that U.S. Open championship. She's here after taking out Shramkova, Ludmila, and Elena Rybakina. Listen, I thought Rybakina would win that match just knowing she was barely ahead of Paolini in points, but now Jasmine has passed her for that eighth spot. I think it's going to get interesting because the reality here is if Jasmine, let's say she gets past Coco, she's going to add more points to her lead. And we could see Elena Rybakina making an appearance in one of these last two tournaments to try and secure that spot. And let's say if Coco defeats Jasmine, we could see Jasmine possibly entering one of these last two tournaments. I think it's going to be a great race, possibly like Annette Kontaveit several years ago, trying to secure that last spot, doing whatever she could. And I think Jasmine, though, is in the driver's seat, right? Because I do think she's in better form. And I think if both of the ladies play at least one of the last 500 tournaments, I think I think Jasmine goes deeper in the draw, and I think she secures that eighth spot. So it's going to be interesting. And look, it could be a shuffle. You know, the reality here is we have Ekaterina in the mix as well. So I think it's going to get pretty darn interesting. But big game Jessie P, guys. She has not done well in this matchup at all. They faced each other 10 times. Sabalenka's won 8 of them. And they've played 3 of the 10 on clay. Sabalenka's won all 3 of those. Overall, on hard, Sabalenka's won 5 of the 7. Now, the last time they faced each other, the U.S. Open, Sabalenka won that in 3. Pegula came out, won the first set. And look, that was a big-time matchup in the semifinal. I felt that if Pegula could have won that match, she could have won the U.S. Open, right? But this is always the problem with this matchup. Pegula said it best, and look, she plays within her comfort zone, right? You're never going to see her over emotional, overreact, and just try to do what her opponent's doing. And I just feel this is the type of matchup where she probably needs to do that. She plays at about 70% of what she can. But again, the harder, the faster, especially the harder you hit, the more harder it is to control the ball, you know? So the stronger you're striking, it makes you more prone to mistakes, which is why Sabalenka makes a lot of mistakes, but she just comes back, she doesn't quit, and she continues to overpower opponents. And this is the type of matchup I feel if Pegula's going to beat Sabalenka consistently, she's going to have to play outside of her comfort zone, develop a game plan that could really, really use her, that could expend her energy conservatively, but in the pressure point situations when she needs to step up. And I felt last time I watched that match at the U.S. Open semifinal, she did play a lot more aggressive than what we're used to seeing from her, but it just wasn't enough. And Pegula's here. She's having a really good tournament. And I mean, she's here after taking out tough competition as well, right? She's won 8 of her last 10. You know, Haley Baptiste, one of the best shot makers in the world, Ekaterina, and Katerina Siniakova. So overall, this is just, I think it's a tough matchup. Stylistically, it's a bad matchup for Pegula. And if we take a look at Pegula's last match, if that's any indication of how she needs to play against Sabalenka, the first thing you're going to look at is her first serve points won. 35 out of 45, 78%. She can't dip below 78% against Sabalenka. It's just not going to work. 0 aces. She has to serve at least 5 to 7 aces, which is unlike her. But she's going to have to get free points and limit as many rallies and exchanges as possible to conserve energy and get ready for a three-setter. It's going to be extremely difficult to do. While Sabalenka last time out 6 aces against Ludmila, 77% of her first serves won, 81% on the second serve, right? So she gave Ludmila very little to work with. And then you factor in Ludmila, who has a drop shot that can deflect. Pegula lost 55% of her second serves. Not going to get it done because Pegula is not necessarily chasing down vertical balls and shortening the court against Sabalenka. She's not doing it. I think the opportunity that someone like Coco has when she faces Sabalenka is the passing shots. It's the ability to move her. And Pegula just doesn't have that when she's facing Sabalenka. It's ball striking. And I think it plays into Sabalenka's hands, especially as she's not as aggressive as she needs to be. But overall, Pegula, look, she wins about 76% of her service games. But the return side is where this matchup goes to Sabalenka. She wins about 38% of her return games, Sabalenka at about 40%. But Sabalenka is consistently out hustling her opponents in between these rallies, and she's just blowing them off of the court with bombs. Now, Pegula made it clear she's not going to be playing well into her 30s. So if she doesn't win this matchup here today, I don't know if she'll ever make this matchup a little less lopsided. I got to go with Sabalenka to win this match. I love big game Jessie P. I really do, but this is a bad matchup. I'll take Sabalenka to win and have the opportunity to defend her crown here. Coco Gauff, the right now of tennis, taking on Jasmine Paolini. I've been telling you guys about Jasmine for so long. I'm so excited for her success, guys. She's such a sweet, beautiful person. Ciao Bella, a.k.a. Little Italy. Listen, she's here, and she has arrived on the main stage. She's not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. I told you guys that a while ago. Watch out for her many years ago, and she's here. And she's not going anywhere. In the words of DMX, baby. Rest in peace. All right, so this matchup was 2-love for Coco. Jasmine's won the last 3. Coco did win a set this year in Cincy, and I felt she would win the match after winning the first set. But just like the Porsche Grand Prix earlier this year when Coco was leading the head-to-head 2-love, Coco was up 4-2 in the first set. So, look, she's destroying Jasmine. Well, go watch the video I made. I said, if Jasmine's going to win this match, she's got to start playing aggressively, and she's got to play carefree. She has to take risks. She has to take shots. She has to play outside her comfort zone. And I think they listened to exactly what I said because Jasmine started to just play wild, aggressively, and I think she's figured something out against Coco. The reality with this matchup is, and this is something that I've always hated. I've always hated being the fastest player on the court, is facing someone with a shorter center of gravity than me. Facing someone shorter than me. It's frustrating. And this is where Coco is in this matchup. Jasmine's 3-4 inches shorter than her. Maybe, yeah, I'd say about 4 inches shorter. I'd say Jasmine's about 5'5" on a good day. Coco's about 5'10". I know she's listed at 5'9". Coco's about 5'10", 5'11" these days. So, yeah, maybe about 5-6 inches. Yeah, Coco's got Jasmine maybe about 5-6 inches. It's tough because Coco has to get lower to defend when she's facing Jasmine, and she doesn't have to do this against any other player on tour because normally she's either at the same height or a little shorter than her opponents, or her opponents aren't as athletically gifted as Jasmine or her. This is a nightmare matchup for Coco. This is one of the few. I think Osaka is. I think Amanda Anisimova presents problems. Those are really the 3 ladies that are really tough. I mean, Victoria Mboku presents problems because she's left-handed and athletic, and she takes risks. She really guns for it. But Jasmine is a problem. She's a nightmare because of her short center of gravity. She can explode vertically, and she's worked on her forehand. I'm telling you guys, this is a headache. But Jasmine respects Coco. She understands how powerful she is. At Cincinnati, when they were practicing, Jasmine made it clear. She said, "Look, Coco's very strong. Her shots are very aggressive." And let's go back to Anna Kalinskaya. And even Diana Snyder. When they beat Coco, those matches after they said, "Oh my goodness, Coco is so strong." You could feel, Anna said, "I could feel her power up until the last point. Oh my God." Diana Snyder said, "Coco's power. Oh my goodness." Mary Andreeva, Coco's just so athletic. She's so fast. She's the fastest player I've ever played against. They all respect Coco's game. They know what it is. And Jasmine does too. And here's the thing. I do think that the matchup in Germany, I think it's a matchup Coco was just controlling. She was very comfortable early on, and she got a little complacent, and then before you know it, boom, you can't get back into the match. The matchup in Rome, I felt she was very fatigued from playing Kinwin in that long marathon match. It happens. The matchup in Cincinnati, again, I felt she should have won. She was in control after winning the first set, a little complacent. Before you know it, the match is over. Even though Jasmine leads this head-to-head 3-2, I don't feel that this is the type of matchup that Coco's really worried about. I mean, I think, look, stylistically, Jasmine's a problem for anyone. But I think Coco has a sense of comfort knowing that if she plays her best, she should beat Jasmine, right? And that starts with the backhand and stretching the court. If she does that, I don't see how Jasmine can consistently outstrike how Coco is playing right now. I just don't see it. Coco is too gifted with her backhand. It stretches the court too deep. And I say it all the time, backhand versus forehand on hard, I'm going to take the backhand without a doubt. And that is the key to this matchup. That's the isolator. That's going to take away Jasmine's speed and everything she wants to do. Overall, though, Jasmine's very consistent. She wins 70% of her service games, 69%. Why not round up a little bit? 40% of her return games. She doesn't really make a lot of double faults. I mean, she's under 2 per match. She's very consistent, but she's at 1 ace per match. So she's not really going to, and that's because she's a shorter player, right? Shorter players, it's always tougher to get aces. This is why I love Ashley Barty. Ashley Barty, come back. The tour was just amazing with Ashley Barty. That draw was stacked. That's when Osaka was really doing things. Coco was coming up. We had a net contivate. Ego was starting to make splashes. But I just feel Ashley Barty is one of the greatest servers of all time. Being so short. What was Barty? Like 5'6"? What was Barty? What do you guys know? What do you think? 5'6", right? 5'5", 5'6". Unbelievable server for her height. So I feel that Coco's got to put the pressure. Any second serve she gets from Jasmine, she's got to jump on them. Attack with the backhand if she can. But overall, I do feel this is a matchup here where Jasmine, she's going to do about what she does. But just like those last previous matchups they played each other, Jasmine's numbers have not been great. The 60 percentile range for the first and second serves. It's really just been Coco, to be honest with you. I think Coco could have played better in those matches. But let's take a look at Jasmine's match against Iga Swiatek, right? 0 aces, 1 double fault. She won 73% of the first serve, 62% of the second serve. Those are good numbers, but I don't think those are numbers to beat Iga if she's on her game. I don't think 73% first serves won is beating Iga. You got to be up 77, 78, and pushing about 80%. 62% of the second serve. Iga lost 52% of her first serves and 87% of her second serve. I just don't think those kind of numbers beat Iga consistently. And look at Coco, 64% on her first serves won against Laura, 65 on the second serve. I think numbers like that can beat Jasmine, right? Because she's going to pressure Jasmine a lot as well, you know? And I just think defensively, she has to stretch Jasmine. Jasmine's going to try to come in vertical. She's going to try to hit passing shots. She's going to try to shorten the court. She's going to do that. And I just think Coco's got to serve well. She has to start these serves off, jamming up Jasmine, backing her up, and I think she'll be fine. Coco Gauff wins this match. I love Jasmine, but I just think Coco and Sabalenka, that's going to be the matchup. We're going to tune in, and I think Coco wins Wuhan. Tennis in a minute. Like the video, comment below, guys. What do you think?